Okay, welcome along to this stream that we haven't done one for, God, must be coming up 2 weeks now. Yeah, just ironing some issues out I've been having, mainly with the GPU, and trying some things out, one of which seems to be successful up to now. And the reason why I'm doing a live stream on this test is because I think because I was streaming, or I am streaming, from the same computer. Whether that was sort of bringing down the frame rates and causing some quite severe micro stutters now and again, quite recently. Anyway, I was looking into undervolting your GPU. Seeing what that's all about, you know, reading up on it. Some people's had some really good results, certainly on RTX range of NVIDIA graphics cards. So I thought, well, let's give it a go. And, well, we're streaming at the moment. You know, normally if I'd done this, just spin around the aircraft, it would stutter all over the place. The experience is definitely smoother. Definitely, and frame rates seem to be okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually do a flight. It's only a short flight. We're going from Eghq, Eghq, up to Leeds, Bradford. Weather conditions, I've put live weather on. It's a bit blustery, if you can hear that wind up there. So we're going to see how it handles that. See how it handles. It's quite... I suppose it's perfect conditions for testing your graphics cards with the cloud cover as well. See how the frame rates handle that. So without further ado, let's get the aircraft started up. So I will be doing a video, like a step-by-step guide, mainly drawn towards NVIDIA graphics cards, obviously because I use an NVIDIA graphics card. To see if you want to try the process. Now I could quickly, let's see if I can quickly bring up the Msi Afterburner. Hopefully you should be able to see that on screen. I've got the right capture method on so you can see it. I'll just confirm it. There's like a delay on one of the monitors here because I monitor the stream. Yeah, you can see that. Right, that's good. I wouldn't want to be waffling on here and you couldn't see what I'm talking about. Now, MSI Afterburner obviously is what we use to slightly overclock. I use the default curve, which is a process of going to the overclock icon here and then letting click the scan and let it do its own overclock thing. You know, the thing is, depends on the silicon on your card. We can all have the same card, but you'll get different results depending on your power supply and many other variables. But I normally let it do its own scan. Now, from what I've been experimenting with, if you press Control F, you get this wonderful chart come up, which is your voltage versus frequency curve, and you can edit these. And now I've edited mine here. Normally it's quite a linear curve, but as you can see, I've flattened out the top of it here to gradually bring down the voltage as we increase the frequency here. So I am going to do a separate video actually doing the process of this, so you know it'll be a bit of a step-by-step guide. But today's purpose is for me to see if there has been any noticeable difference. And what I can say is the frame rate is much smoother, hell of a lot smoother, and I'm not getting any line tearing. Normally if I turn quick in the cockpit, you get screen tear. Well, that's totally disappeared. Views between the cabin views out to external are much smoother, much more responsive and quicker. And there's no stuttering. I used to get a bit of stuttering on this as well. Now, just as a note to this as well, I have also done this after loading the latest NVIDIA drivers, which I got a notification for yesterday. So spent quite a bit of last night going through this. So, right, it's going to be a quick flight. It's not going to be so much procedural because I just want to see how this thing has improved. If it's improved, I don't know. We might get in the air yet, and this could be a total flop. Well, I'm going to turn everything on anyway. Like I say, this isn't a procedural flight. This is more of testing things out as we go along. Right, so let's get the nav lights on, beacon light on. Get a bit of light in here. It is a bit dull and dim. Get my monitors sorted out so you can see what we're doing. I'll just worry with the captain side at the moment. Panels. Eghq monitors. Let's get them brightened up. What else? Bit of floodlighting down here. Let's get that into standby. To auto. Okay, right, so let's get straight into it. I've got a bit of a flight plan to load in on our way up to Leeds, Bradford this morning. Press, let's get that in on the init data. Okay. Right, so 1 hour and 23 minutes. I didn't want to go back to there. What are you doing? Come on, sort it out. Weight and balance. Let's get that on. We're just using defaults at the moment. So I'll get the boarding started. Init data. There we go. EZY248. Eghq to Egnm. Okay, block fuel 2.5. Performance data, flaps 1 for takeoff, flex temp, 3,000 feet, transition altitude. Okay, that's that. Let's get into the flight plan and get this loaded here for weather data. As you can see on the weather map, it's pretty blustery down here and some heavy showers as we're going to be heading up through Devon and Somerset and then straight up over South Wales, I think is where our planned route takes us. And you can see it's pretty blustery, squally weather up there as well. Why is that not loading? Come on, there you go. Right, so 23 knots of wind down here, so pretty blustery, not so bad inland at Leeds, but the weather is progressively getting worse as we've got these storm fronts coming in from the southwest, westerly southwest. Okay, right, so Eghq, better get my flight plan up. What we got Egnm, so right, so our departure this morning is Eghq runway 30. Okay, there's no SIDS here, so it's literally straight out. Let's get rid of that discontinuity in there. Clear. Thank you. Let's get the flight plan page up. Just give that a quick check. So, out of GCHQ, Eghq. It's a right turn on a sort of northeasterly up to Exmoor. There's a number sort of over Wales here. Okay, all the way up to Wrexham. Back on a northeasterly to Pole Hill. We need to put our destination data in here. So our arrival for Leeds Bradford is runway ILS 32. No stars or vires there, so that's unusual. It normally is. So I thought there was for Leeds Bradford. Right, okay, well, let's just check out the last leg of that flight. If it will let me. There we go, Egnm. Oh, that, yeah. Well, that looks about... Yep. Let's put the constraints on. They're only there. 3,000 on final. Marvellous. Just make sure there's no more discontinuities in there. Was there one there? Nope. Okay, well that's looking good. Marvellous. Right, so let's put that back to ARC. That's flight plan done. Bloody hell. As I say, we're not doing things procedurally today, so we are going to put... I'm just going to put 4 tons in. 4 tons of that. Whack that in there. I'm going to worry too much about that. We'll go straight out if we can. I don't know if there's a... Do I need a tug here? I think I can get out without using a tug. Yeah, there we go. Right, so let's very quickly just get me bearings here and work out where we are. If this is going to let us. Oh, there we go. Take a quick peep up there. I think that's the opposite end of where we want to take off. Let's have a look. This is a much smoother experience, I must say. So that's 12. We need to taxi down to the other end of the runway. So it's a case of... Wow, this is just so much different. Wow, why didn't I do this ages ago? Well, I'll tell you why, because I knew nothing about underclock. Well, not underclocking. You're not underclocking your video card. You're actually clocking your card, you know, to a reasonable level. I mean, as you can see here, there's no stuttering. There's nothing. There is absolutely... I've never had it this smooth. But what you're doing is limiting the voltage, is running it down to a minimum point so that, I mean, the first thing I've noticed is my fans aren't my fans in the PC aren't sounding like a Boeing 737. Since I've done this, everything's much calmer, the temperatures are much lower. I've got an average of 12 degrees lower running temperatures just by doing this. But boy, see what it's done, it's because everything's not maxing out and overheating or spiking constantly. The performance is much smoother, and I think more people should be doing this. So we're going to use this as a bit of a test flight to see if it may be worth you doing it. There are procedures for doing it with AMD cards. There's lots of reports of success doing AMDs, but unfortunately I haven't got the AMD tuning software or an AMD card, so I can't do that. But the procedure is very much the same. Yeah, this is... Wow. This is... Wow, shockingly different. It's like using a different card. Right, okay, right, so we know we've got to be down there. I suppose we better use the traffic control because it... where we're going out north eventually, aren't we?
Eghq with uniform request taxi for takeoff north departure.
He can handle all that.
Easy
Yeah.
248 taxi to and hold short of runway 30 using taxiway Bravo. Contact tower on 13, 4 decimal tree, 8 when ready.
Stick that over there.
Taxiing hold short runway 30 using taxiway Bravo Eghq 248.
Alright, I haven't even got the APU started yet. God. Go on, get on the ball, Mike. Right, so APU start, seatbelts on. Bong bong that. Wrong one. That one I want on. Beacons on, strobe to auto. Okay, so far. Right, so, well, initial climb to 3,000, I do believe. Let's double check. Well, that's our transition. All right, I'll set it to that for now, but there's no constraints. It literally is straight out departure up to Exmoor. Okay, that's fair enough. What is our... I thought it was a bit high. It said 37,000 feet. Let's see if it's corrected that. No, it's set it cruising altitude 37,000 feet. I don't think we're going to actually... Well, we could possibly make that. But it's going to be a case of getting near to it and then immediately descending. Right, okay. QNH, that's all set. 2980. Pressure is falling. This storm moving in, as you can quite clearly see on the weather map here. This is the only weather map we've got to rely on at the moment because sort of radar's partially working. Well, I don't think no, it's totally inop. I'm on the experimental version at the moment, so yeah. But anyway, yeah, weather's interesting. This weather front coming up from the southwest. Bit of a lull in the weather tomorrow. But, oh, no, is it Thursday? Thursday, yeah. Tomorrow's meant to be pretty bad as well. But as you can see, those wind speeds are pretty tough. So I'm just padding out here, waiting for the for the APU to start. Okay, external power off. Into start position. Okay, we'll start off with engine 1. Outside you can hear it's very gusty, so it's going to be an interesting flight. So far I can't get over how smooth this undervolting has made things much more stable. Might be able to start enjoying Microsoft Flight Simulator once again, because it seems to me the last few updates, with exception to the last one, which was a world update, but the last few core updates have been really dodgy for me. It's caused all sorts of issues, and I was getting to the point, shall I reinstall it all, but no, I thought no, this is all graphics card related, which we finally hopefully have sorted. Right, so okay, engine number 1 started and stable. Let's get engine number 2 sorted out, and of course flaps 5, or flaps 1 in an Airbus, isn't it? Right, that's it. Control surfaces looking good. Right, I did have my throttle in the... see, this is what happens when you don't do your checklists. Right, okay. Let's get out of here. So, as I say, this is... we're not doing a procedural flight, we are just literally testing out these new graphics settings that we've played about with the underclocking procedure. Like I say, if this is successful, I will make a video on how this is done. There's plenty out there if you want to look, but I'll gear this specifically towards Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, so runway 30 is where we're departing from. Oh man, this is so much smoother. Wow. What a difference. Oh, we had a bit of a stutter there. But in general, this is so much smoother. I mean, stutters, small stutters, you know, I can live with, but it's when it's constant sort of frame drops and aggressive stuttering that really makes the experience not good at all. Okay, right, let's get some other settings done. Maximum braking, takeoff configuration check, flaps. So I'm trying to do this blind here. Spoilers armed. That's as good as the pre-takeoff's getting. Check today. Pretty miserable down here in Eghq, but I think it probably by the end of the day much of the UK is going to be like this as well. Winds, as so we've got 23 knots gusting winds. So could be a little bit bumpy, certainly going to be wet. Well, I must say this is one of the smoothest sort of frame rates and video session I can say I've ever had on Microsoft Flight Simulator, to be honest. I do recommend doing this, certainly if you've got NVIDIA card. I can't vouch for AMD, but I know plenty of people do. It's just that I can't vouch for it because I haven't got the AMD. Right, so, okay, let's put some runway lights on. Straight on.
North departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 30.
Pack 1 off, pack 2.
Cleared for takeoff runway 30 easy 248.
Sometimes you have to bong it twice.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Okay, so set there, we're set there. Put that back to normal. Like I say, it's not a procedural flight today. It is literally testing what we've done with these graphics card settings. Right, okay, let's make straight out. Wow. I don't know if that was a gust there. I'm going to go toggle on this because, wow, we are getting blown. Right to the port side there. Right, let's get back on track. Okay, V1. Wow, yeah, that is windy. Okay, gear up.
EZY248, continue for north departure.
Tower EZ248, continue for north departure.
So down that way is Nuki. We can see Nuki just in the mist
Tower
there in the
EZ248,
background.
frequency change. Approach EZ248 is type Airbus A20 and 2 miles northwest of Echo Golf Hotel, Quebec, 1,700 feet.
Cove down there.
Request flight following.
Right, okay, let's get to...
EZ248 approach. Squawk 6256.
Squawk 6256 EZ248.
Flaps up.
EZ248 radar contact 3 miles northwest of Echo Golf Hotel, Quebec, 2,900 feet. Altimeter 29.77.
Roger, EZ248.
Okay, so we're all back in the green. Let's take a look. Just doing our turn to the northeast now. Well, I'll get us straight up to 37,000 feet. I don't even think we're gonna reach that, to be honest. Right, so we've got some de-icing going on here. Let's quickly whack those on. Put the packs back on. Okay. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Doing the undervoltage settings has made an incredible difference to how the graphics performance is. I don't think on Microsoft 2020 I've ever had it as smooth as this. Oh, it's pointless looking out there. It's pretty much thick cloud at the moment. Right, I'm going to go straight to standard on the barometer. As you see, we're in the thick of it now with the with the storm that's blowing in. Right, so straight up to Exmoor, and then we make a turn over Wales as we head north.
EZ248, contact Manchester Centre on 118.775. Good day.
118.775 for EZ248. Manchester Centre, EZ248, 8,500 feet.
EZY248 Manchester Centre, altimeter 29.77. Continue as planned.
Okay, just approaching 10,000, so get the takeoff lights off. The outside temperature -8. Nasty stuff. Hi Melly, Minaj, how are you doing? Christian McQueener, I hope I'm pronouncing those names correctly there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are. This is just a quick test flight between Newquay and Leeds Bradford here in the UK. Primarily just checking some GPU settings we've been experimenting with, and that's when you overclock your GPU is under voltage stuff. And I must say, I mean, this is my first attempt at messing around with under voltage settings, and so far it's incredible. It really is incredible difference to the performance of the GPU. But early days yet. If we make the rest of this flight, then I'm convinced under voltage is the way to go. Okay, so if you bear with me, I'm going to grab a quick coffee, whilst you're on the climb phase, and I'll be back with you very shortly, a couple of minutes. Oh, that's better. Things function much better with a coffee. Okay. Still can't see much, and we're now at, what are we, 24,000 feet, so we're climbing quite nicely. Still in thick cloud at 24,000 feet. Man. Right, so, what is undervoltage, or undervolting, you may ask? Oh, I closed it, didn't I? Yeah, let's bring the Msi Afterburner back up. Now, I was getting temperatures. Wow, that is just incredible. My temperatures were going way up into the sort of mid to top 70s, touching 80 degrees now and again. They're now down to 57, 58. Even down to 55 there. Now, as you can see, I'm still overclocked here. 1.8 gig, roughly. This is on an RTX 2070 Super card. But there you go. 1 second, bear with me. I've just got to take this call. Right, so where were we? Yes, sorry about that. I had to take that call. And yeah, I keep wanting to say underclocking. It's not underclocking, it's undervolting is what we're doing here. So if I just go into Afterburner, Control F brings up your voltage frequency curve, and just as a brief, I'm not going to go into it. This is a video in itself, this procedure, but I've got my peak frequency versus voltage curve down to about, what is it? It's below a volt. It's 937 millivolts, which, in just doing that, I was very conservative on the movements that I've done. I know I can go lower than this, but see, I like to be in the halfway spot, the sweet spot, because if you go too low, you might be on the verge that, you know, you'll be into an hour, 2 hours flight on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it's just on the edge and it causes a crash. So I've gone at the halfway point. I've gone down. I know I could comfortably go down to 912 millivolts, but I found that it's most stable and most smoothest down to 937 millivolts, and that has been the sweet spot for me. And you enter that, and then it makes the rest of the curve for you. But as you can see, this is pretty much stable here. This is normally moving about all over the place, certainly if you're selecting different scenes within the flight simulator. But it's made an incredible difference to the performance here in terms of microstutters and frame rates. The frame rates are more constant now. They're not constantly up and down. And, of course, one of the biggest things there is the temperatures. Look at the temperatures. I mean, I was up near the 80s. Now I'm down to sort of 58, 57, 58 centigrade. And, of course, that has an impact on your fans as well. They're not screaming out all the time. It's much more stable and a much better experience. So we'll definitely, if this flight keeps up, be doing a video on how I approached it anyway. So hopefully, if we do that, you might find that very useful. I may have knocked this slightly off again. Let's put that into little climb. Okay, we are at cruising altitude. See, pretty thick cloud down there. Let's get our destination data into the Eghq. Get a weather report for Leeds Bradford, MCCU, ATSU, AOC, weather request. I just want Egnm at the moment, so we'll unselect them. And that one. Okay, meta report. Back out there, and received messages. Just wait for that to pop in. Yeah, another thing I've noticed as well, certainly in the cockpit, when you pan around now, I'm getting no line tear or stuttering at all. It's a completely different experience. I wish I'd known about this sooner, a long time ago. But yeah, and then switching between views, that's much more of a smoother experience than it's ever been. yeah, I'm so far very impressed with just making some minor adjustments and to what it's done to the performance since doing that. That's just incredible, really is. All this on an RTX 2070 Super, and I at the moment it's running at 1440, but then OBS sort of brings that down to 1080 for the stream. So all my settings are ultra settings, and yeah, this is the smoothest experience I've had with Microsoft Flight Simulator yet. It's all very well overclocking, but then you're screaming everything to max, and that can have more of a negative impact on it. It's still overclocked, but all I've done is lower some of the voltages down, which is obviously having a major impact on better power consumption, and heat is a lot less of a problem. And I must say, because my desktop is literally on the desk, I'm not hearing those fans at all. It's running near silent, which is also a bonus. So yeah, I will, if this is a successful flight, as in, you know, we're not going to have a crash between now and getting to Leeds Bradford, and I know that this is pretty stable, will be doing a video specifically aimed towards Microsoft Flight Simulator and graphics cards, the NVIDIA. It's pretty much the same deal with the AMD stuff as well, and there's tons of videos out there on how to do it and how to experiment and find that sweet spot with your particular card. But I will be making specifically for NVIDIA cards, and yeah, if it makes your experience any better, it certainly has improved mine, I can say that for sure. I've never had this running so smooth. Never. I'm actually shocked that this has worked, because at first it sort of was a concept that was hard to get your head round. It's like, lowering the voltage and you can get better performance or smoother performance. Now, this won't have an impact on, necessarily much of an impact on increasing frame rates, but it certainly makes the whole experience a much smoother, and I'd say more reliable, and a lot less power hungry than what it is with just standard overclocking. Because if you think about it, everything's turned up to max and everything's trying much harder. It only takes a temperature spike and things start throttling, and that's when you start seeing performance issues. But I've got to say, this, I might be over-egging it here, but seriously, this is the best I've seen the simulator running ever, to be honest. And I'm just amazed that the profound effect it has had on the whole experience. Okay, so like I say, because this is a reasonably short flight, as soon as we're up, we're heading on down again. So I'm going to decrease our altitude down to 25,000 feet. So unfortunately, that's taken us back into the cloud again. Mind you, it's breaking up a little bit here. Now we're sort of getting up to over North Wales, coming up. So hopefully Leeds Bradford, it might be a little bit better than when we left Newquay in terms of weather conditions. And talking of which, did that weather report come through? Oh, there it is. Okay, right, so let's print that off. Well, the winds aren't too bad. They're 15 knots as opposed to 24 knots as they were when we took off from Nuki. Clouds, there's few, it's saying at 900. Okay. Pressure's low though, 997. Oh. Right, let's, did I print that off? Yeah, okay, let's get that over there. Let's get our destination data in. Right, so currently QNH 0997 at Leeds. Temperature's 06. Winds 230 at 50 knots, 15 knots, sorry. No on the radio barometer. Transitions 6,000. Okay. That's that bit done. We'll check it again just before we get there. As it seems the wind speed's a bit variable at the moment, saying 15 knots and 17 knots here. So we'll check that one more time as we make our descent down to the approach. See, clouds breaking up a little bit here, but over there where we're heading, it's looking a bit thick still. So, but it's saying scattered clouds at Leeds Bradford. All good if that's the case. Right, so we are just approaching Wrexham in Wales, and we'll be taking a right turn to the northeast over towards Yorkshire.
Manchester Centre EZ248. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
EZY248 Manchester Centre. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
Cleared through Charlie airspace EZ248.
So we left Nuki, which that's just standard airports we got there. It's not custom scenery or anything, so you'd expect, you know, decent frame rates there. So it's going to be interesting when we get Leeds Bradford. That's one of my custom payware airports, and you could notice now and again, previously to doing this, frame rates drop slightly. I'd say sort of anywhere from, I used to average 35 frames per second at the airport, but it would dip up and down between 28 and 35, so it'd be interesting. And you would notice stutters as well, like micro stutters, but be interesting to see if this undervolting has also addressed that issue with some of the payware stuff, which at the moment can only see it being a positive effect. But yeah, we'll see when we head down towards Leeds Bradford if it's made any profound effect. Right, okay, so we're down to 25,000 feet. We are currently around about 60 miles away from Leeds Bradford. I'm going to take this down to 10,000 feet gradually. Yeah, it's like a weird approach at Leeds Bradford. So we're heading towards over Manchester at this very moment, heading towards Pole Hill, which is our last waypoint before we get on the approach pattern to Leeds Bradford. Well, I'll leave the engine, the icing on as we're making our descent now. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, this is much, certainly when there used to be lots of cloud. I used to see a lot of micro stutters, certainly on a descent as the ground level sort of produces more detail. But at the moment, it's just a totally different experience. Shockingly better. That's how I'd describe it. I mean, the biggest experiment should have done from Gatwick, yeah, because Gatwick was, but you know, at the end of the day, I also wanted to take, you know, if the Gatwick is predominantly a tough hit on frame rates anyway, it's probably not a good experiment to make, which is why I chose Nuki to. Leeds Bradford is like going from a basic airport up to one that's custom built to see what that would do. But Gatwick is the next experiment because sometimes that would be atrocious performance at Gatwick purely because of the detail level. But yeah, I'm curious now to see how this would perform at Gatwick. Okay, some of them are pretty close. I'm going to go straight down to 3,000. Well, weather prediction seems about right. There's far more broken cloud here than there is down south, but apparently that's moving up this way. It's not going to stay like this for too long. Bit bumpy, as you can see, as we make our way down to Leeds Bradford. Do love seeing that wing flex. It's beautifully animated on this, certainly when your graphics is performing well. Right, so this turn indicates that we're at the Pole Hill marker, so we should be getting near enough to 10,000 feet, so I'm going to put the lights on ready now, just the approach lights. Keep the de-icing on as we're now heading into some cloud cover. Right, see, I think this is going to miss these markers here. It looks like it's going for a straight in, which could be a bit tight because let's put some speed brakes on because we need to get down to 250 knots. Okay, check ILS is programmed in. Hopefully get 110.9. I don't need that yet. That's that I was looking for. That's it. So we're 11 miles away. I don't. Oh, possibly could do it. Possibly get down to 3,000 between now and then. I think we'll be okay. If it does decide to do that approach, which it looks like it is, it's cut corners there.
Leeds Tower EZ248 is 10 miles southwest, 8,700 feet with whiskey to land.
EZ248 Leeds Tower. Altimeter 29.44, wind 250 at 25. Fly left base runway 32.
Fly left base runway 32 EZ248.
Yeah, that's so much crazily smoother. Man, oh man. Pretty shocked at what a profound effect it has had on these graphics. Well, in terms of performance. Right, there we go. Those leads in the background there. It's making our turn into our final approach. Let's just check that height-wise, yeah, we've got 2,000 feet to lose, but we should lose that shortly after the decel. I'm going to put the localizer on. Speed reduction's coming in now. Decel points. Assist it a bit with the speed brakes. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird approach this. I would have expected it to at least gone out to the markers. Right, so we're at the D-cell points. Localizer's just locked in now. Right, so we're now decreasing speed, put some speed brakes on. I think we might be a bit too close for this, for definite. Gear down to really reduce our speed. Like I said, we're not doing a procedural flight today. Let's get the approach on. We might be lucky and it captures it, but I still think we're slightly too high for this. Whoops. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Flaps 2. No, I think we're far too high for this. We may have to go around. Yep, this isn't going to work.
Easy White 248, wind 250 at 25. Cleared to land runway tree 2.
We're going to go around.
Cleared to land runway tree 2 easy 248. Going around easy 248.
Easy White 248, roger, go around. white 248, wind 250 at 25. Cleared to land runway tree 2.
Cleared to land runway tree 2 easy 248.
Right, so we should be down there somewhere. That's where we should have landed. We're just going around, going to try a longer approach. That did come up on us very quickly using whatever that flight plan penciled in for us. So we're just doing a downwind leg. Okay, yeah, I'm going to wait for us to get about 20 miles out, spin us around, set the localizer back up again, and take it from there. This time I'm going to stay at 3,000. Just down to 220 knots, so we'll put a bit of flap in there as well. Okay, so a complete 180 we're just doing here. Get back on the approach and let's flick in the localizer. A little bit of an overrun there, but hopefully it'll pick that up pretty soon. Give it some help. And flaps 2. Just on the border, I'll leave it there, just cancel that. Right, so we're on the localizer, 16 miles out. Should have manually done this in the first place, gone to these waypoints here that it sort of cut out. I don't know why it did, but it did. Right, so it's just turning onto the localizer now. And already I can tell that the graphics are much smoother on our approach to Leeds Bradford, but the real test will be when we get on the ground to a custom airport to see how it performs on the ground as well. So we should be doing that in the next 5 or 10 minutes, hopefully. Okay, so looks like we're lined up on the localizer. Okay, speed back to automatic. And we'll hit the approach. Flaps 3. And flaps 4. This looks much more of a stabilised approach. Okay, runway lights on. Speed brake automatic. Into a brake at medium settings. Wow, I know I keep saying it, but I just can't believe the difference it's made in the stability of the graphics settings here. It's just incredible. So I will be doing a separate video on how we do the undervoltage stuff for NVIDIA cards, because it might, like I say, it might help you out as well. But this is the smoothest I've ever seen the graphics run on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Go over the city of Leeds and Bradford. The performance in the cockpit is just 10 times better. I'm getting no line tear at all now when I pan around. It is a bit bumpy here, wind-wise. Got some heavy gusts. Uh, 26 knots head-on wind at the moment, so I think that will calm down once we get down to 1,000 feet and below, he says. Okay, visual with the runway. I'm going to keep it on auto lane because I'm more interested to see how the visuals perform on our approach here. It's I can tell straight away, even this approach, things are far smoother than what they've ever been. I mean, I definitely, certainly at the Leeds Bradford payware that I've got here, on this approach I know that I was getting many micro stutters and frame drops as well, but now it's just totally smooth. That's incredible. I've never seen my graphics on Flight Sim run this smooth. Wow. Well, let's hope that holds out until we get onto the ground. It's interesting to see how the Autoland handles this gusty weather. Yeah, that's so much smoother than what it was before. I mean, I used to get some devastating stutters here at this point. Okay, bit of rudder and flare, and she's down.
Easy White 248, exit runway when able.
Okay, here we are. Right, flaps up. Oh, this it's just like having a totally different graphics card now. Like I said, I can't believe that I found out about doing something like this much earlier. Okay, like I say, this is non-procedural, so we'll just turn around and we'll pick our own gate.
120.305 easy 248.
Right, so yeah, seeing the success of this, I will be doing a separate video. I won't be doing it live. I'll obviously edit it, cut the fat out of it, of what it is I'd done to undervolt my graphics card to get these results. I mean, they're not going to be exactly the same for, you know, we could have the same cards, but the settings are going to be slightly different. You know, there's going to be variances of slight voltage differences on various different types of cards, but it gives you the idea of what to do, because there is some trial and error, there is some testing that you need to do with it. You know, they're pretty easy tests. You know, it took me, I'd say, just under an hour. Yeah, just under an hour to, sorry, I oversteered there. Just under an hour to get things set up and find the sweet spot. And yeah, and it's paid off. It really is. I've never seen on this graphics card, this 2070 Super, it runs so smoothly. And this is the test. This is Payware, Leeds Bradford, and it used to run pretty dodgy here. Certainly when there was cloud cover like this. Used to be a nightmare on the taxiing. Bit of a stutter there, but you know, I can handle them. It's just when it's stuttery constantly. Right, are we going to find a parking space here? Looks pretty full. Let's have a quick look around. Ah, right, we could. We're going to squeeze in there? Yeah, oh, that's handy. Okay, we'll squeeze in there if we can. Yeah, this is just a totally different experience now. Wow. Okay, parking brake on. I didn't do my APU. We'll just go for ground power. There you go, just to make things a bit more simple. Engine's off. Seatbelt signs off. And there we are. Welcome to a slightly brighter Leeds Bradford. Yeah, I know. I couldn't spin at this airport. I could not spin round like this without it stuttering really bad. Yeah, that's incredible. Vast difference. Like I say, I wish I'd known about this earlier. Okay, well, I'm going to leave that there. We might be having a bit of a longer flight tonight. I'm going to try it from my nemesis airport, which is Gatwick. Which is off of flightsim.to, but it's the detailed version one. Things were very stuttery there, so we're going to try the Gatwick flight tonight to see how it handles that. Meanwhile, I'm going to be working on a video today to try and possibly get out tomorrow on how to specifically target undervolting your graphics card while still overclocking it, and getting similar, or you could be getting better results than I'm getting, because I played it pretty safe, and but I'm just impressed with what difference it's made. And like I say, I wish I'd known about this a long time ago. That's it from me anyway. I'll catch you. Thanks for joining us on this stream. I'll catch you a little bit later with a flight from a very busy airport, which I used to get lots of frame stutters. And we'll see if it's made any difference there. Meanwhile, I'll catch you later. Take care. Have a great day.